We all face them, right? Obstacles, these huge mountains in our lives that just seem way too high to climb. But what if I told you the size of the mountain isn't really the issue? Today, we're going to dive into a really powerful way to completely transform how we look at life's biggest challenges. It's a series of mindset shifts designed to turn us from people who just stare at obstacles into people who actually overcome them. Let's get into it.
Okay, before we go any further, I want you to make this personal. Seriously, take just a second and think about it. What is the single biggest mountain looming in your life right now? Maybe it's something at work, in a relationship, or with your health. Whatever it is, get a clear picture of it in your mind. Because the ideas we're about to explore offer a totally different way to see that exact mountain.
And this right here, this is the absolute core idea, the one that changes everything. The whole argument is that what we choose to focus on literally shapes our reality. Now, this isn't about pretending our problems aren't real. Of course they are. It's about consciously deciding what we believe is more powerful, the problem right in front of our face, or a power that is infinitely bigger than any problem we could ever imagine.
So this really breaks it down. We're standing at a fork in the road, and we have two ways to look at things. If we go down the problem-focused path, our world just gets smaller and smaller. We fixate on the obstacle, which always leads to fear, and let's be honest, fear makes everything look bigger and scarier than it is. But if we shift to a God-focused view, our whole perspective expands. We start moving forward in faith because we're looking past the problem to the one who has power over it. So the choice is ours to make every single day. Is your problem bigger than your God, or is your God bigger than your problem?
So how do we actually make that shift? How does it work in real life? Well, it all starts with this first major change in perspective, moving from a place of fear to a place of courage. This is the foundation that everything else is built on. Let's just pause on this one for a second. I want you to really imagine it. What kind of boldness would you have if you were 100% certain you could not fare, because you knew, without a single doubt, that a divine presence was with you? What chances would you take? What conversations would you finally step up and have? What dream would you go after with everything you've got if you knew failure just wasn't the end of the story?
Now, this command wasn't given to some superhero who was naturally brave. It was said to Joshua, a guy who was taking over for the legendary Moses and felt totally overwhelmed and unqualified for the job. Actually, the source material points out that God had to tell him this 7 times. The message is so clear. The reason for his courage wasn't going to come from his own strength, but from the rock-solid promise that God would be with him.
Okay, now look at this number, 366. What in the world could that represent? I promise it's not random. It actually points to a really profound and consistent message that's woven all through this belief system.
And the answer is just incredible. In at least 366 different ways, the command "do not fear" shows up. Think about that. That's a fresh reminder for every single day of the year, plus an extra one for leap year. So why repeat it so much? Well, because we're wired for fear. We are so quick to forget and feel like we're all on our own. This repetition is no accident. It's a divine reminder again and again. You are not alone.
So this totally flips the script on what we think courage is. It's not about being fearless. It's about feeling the fear, acknowledging it, and moving forward anyway. In this view, real courage isn't something we have to somehow manufacture ourselves. It's a strength we pull directly from the knowledge that the creator of the universe is walking right beside us.
This brings us right to the second major shift. And this one is a direct challenge to our modern goal-obsessed culture. It's the shift from focusing only on the destination to actually falling in love with the journey itself.
I love this quote. It perfectly captures the idea, doesn't it? When you actually fall in love with the process. The day-to-day learning, the messing up sometimes, the slow progress, the big goals and the finish lines just start to happen as a natural result. You're not putting your happiness on layaway for some event in the future.
We've all been on this thing, right? The source calls it a destination treadmill. We keep telling ourselves, oh, I'll finally be happy when I get that degree, or when I get married, or when I get that promotion. But the satisfaction, it's always so short-lived. The excitement fades, and before you know it, we're right back on that treadmill, chasing the next destination and just constantly pushing our joy off into the future.
If we only live for those huge mountaintop moments, the weddings, the big promotions, the fancy vacations, we end up missing the vast majority of our actual lives. Most of life happens in the routine, right? Getting up, going to work, coming home. And this perspective argues that it's right there, in that daily journey, where the real growth happens, where the real joy is found. The danger is waking up 20 years from now and realizing you were so busy chasing the future that you missed all the simple, beautiful miracles of the present.
And this is such a key takeaway. The journey, the process, it's not just a waiting room for the good stuff to happen. It's a preparation room. The challenges we face along the way aren't there to hurt us. They're there to develop us, to build the character, the wisdom, and the strength we're going to need when we reach our destination. Getting the promise without going through the process might mean we're not even ready to handle it.
This leads us straight into one of the biggest roadblocks to enjoying our own journey, the trap of comparison. Constantly looking at what everyone else is doing and measuring our own life against theirs is maybe the #1 joy stealer in the world today.
This quote just nails it. You know the feeling. You could be having a perfectly happy, totally content day, and then you start scrolling. You look over at what someone else has, what someone else is doing, and boom, instantly your joy is gone. It's a thief, and it is so sneaky.
And let's be real, social media has just poured gasoline on this fire. We live in what the source calls a comparison-crazy culture, where we're constantly measuring our real, messy, behind-the-scenes lives against someone else's perfectly curated, filtered highlight reel. You're literally comparing your actual face to their filter, and in that game, your face is always going to lose. It's an unwinnable race because you're competing against something that isn't even real.
So, this is a really important question for all of us to think about. Honestly, how has seeing someone else's vacation or their promotion or their perfect family photo genuinely affected your contentment with your own life? I would love to start a real, honest conversation about this down in the comments. Go ahead and share your experience, because your story might be the very thing someone else needs to read today. So what's the antidote? The only race that's truly fair, the only one that's even worth running, is the one against yourself. Are you a little bit better, a little wiser, maybe a little kinder than you were yesterday? That slow, steady improvement is what leads to unbelievable growth over time. Chasing someone else's shadow is just a fast track to frustration.
And all of this, it leads us to our final, and honestly, maybe the most profound mindset shift of all. This one tackles that deep, nagging feeling that so many of us struggle with, the fear that at our very core, we just aren't enough. It's a feeling that can completely paralyze us and keep us from our true purpose.
This right here is the root of so much of our struggle. It's that little voice that whispers, I'm not smart enough for that job. I'm not attractive enough for that person. I'm not talented enough to chase that dream. This feeling of being underqualified is designed to keep us playing small, to keep us safe, and to keep us far, far away from the life we were actually created to live.
But this worldview offers such a powerful, defiant answer to that fear. It insists that when God was planning your life, He packed your bags with exactly what you would need for the journey He designed for you. You are not lacking anything. You weren't shortchanged. Your looks, your personality, the family you grew up in, it was all purposefully designed for your unique path.
I mean, look at how direct this is. It's not mincing words. That feeling of inadequacy, that little voice whispering that you don't have what it takes, it's described here as a flat-out lie, specifically designed to hold you back from your destiny. It is not the truth.
You are not a mistake. You are not second-rate. You are not junk. You are a masterpiece. The core belief here is that God does not make junk. When He created you, He wasn't having an off day. You are called His most outstanding work, fully equipped with everything you need, right at this very moment, to fulfill the purpose you were designed for.
So let's end with this question, and I really want you to let it sink in. This isn't just a nice, feel-good idea, it's meant to be a catalyst for action. If you truly, deeply drop the lie of I'm not enough and fully embrace the truth that you are a perfectly equipped masterpiece, what would change? What is the very first, tangible step you would take today?
We really hope these ideas have given you a new, empowering way to look at the mountains in your own life. If this message resonated with you, the best way you can support this work is to like this video and subscribe to the Be Thankful channel. And hey, you never know who in your life might need to hear this today, so feel free to share it. If you were inspired with this video, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Be Thankful. Feel free to share this video as well. Thank you, and God bless.